I haven't broken any of my bones yet. Touch wood. Hey guys, you guys know I love a good tag, so I decided to do the my first time tag since I saw Beauty Crush do it a while ago. So I haven't actually read through any of these questions, so let's just get started. Do you still talk to your first love? No, I don't. What was your first job? My first job was probably helping my mum out when she owned the New Zealand Natural Ice Cream shop at Crown Casino back in the day. It was like 2008 or 2006. What was your first car? I've never had a driving lesson in my life, so I still don't have my first car. Who was the first person who texted you today? My boss, because the first text I got was actually in our company group chat on WhatsApp. Who's the first person you thought of this morning? Rhett. Who was your first grade teacher? I don't know. Who actually remembers these things? Do any of you actually remember your first grade teacher? Because that's ages ago. I don't remember anything about the first grade, to be honest. Where did you go on your first airplane ride? Again, I have no memory of that whatsoever. I started traveling really young with my mum, so I think I was still a baby and I have no clue where that was. Who was your first best friend and do you still talk to him or her? No, I don't. The first best friend that I remember was in prep and her name was Lillian, and she had to leave to Fiji for her father's work or something like that, and she said she'd come back in grade 5 but she didn't, and she said she'd come back in grade 8 and she didn't, or maybe she did and just didn't contact me. But I was like, what? I literally just waited for you for 8 years, but that's okay, don't mind me. Where was your first sleepover? I remember this so clearly because it was a huge deal. I was never ever allowed to sleep over because my mum said it wasn't ladylike to be sleeping over at everyone's houses all the time. And one time I was really desperate to stay at my friend's house because it was a party and all the other girls were staying over, and I called my mum, and it took so much courage to call my mum and ask her because, you know, I was hella scared of my mum, you know, it's not ladylike. So I was like, Mum, can I please stay over? All these other girls are staying over and I didn't want to be the odd one out, and you know, I'm gonna look super lame and you're gonna make me lose all my friends if I don't sleep over, so please. And then finally my mum said yes, and it was like a party just for that. I hung up and I was like, guys, my mum said yes, because no one thought she was gonna say yes. Like, we thought, I'll give it a go, but we all know the answer's a no. But she said yes, and I hung up and we were like, guys, oh my god, I can stay over. And then everyone came and gave me a hug, everyone was screaming, because it was pretty much a given back in those days that if someone had a sleepover party, it was a given that, okay, we'll need like one less bed because Vanessa's never gonna stay over. But that was awesome, and we watched Ghost Ship and got scared shitless, and we ended up having to watch Austin Powers afterwards because we were all so scared. But it was a great party and it was my first sleepover ever, and yeah. Who was the first person you talked to today? I feel like that's exactly the same as the other question. But the first person I talked to today... Oh, that's not true. The first person I talked to today was Rhett. But the first person who texted me was my boss, who texted by accident. Whose wedding were you in for the first time? I haven't been part of a wedding party yet, so if you guys need a bridesmaid. Nah, I've never been part of a wedding party. I've attended weddings, but I haven't actually been part of the wedding party. So if it counts that I've been to a wedding, I think maybe the first one was very recent actually, probably my mum's cousin's wedding in Singapore. What was the first thing you did this morning? Brush my teeth. What was the first concert you ever went to? I'm pretty sure the first concert I ever went to was probably Anita Mui, who is some Chinese celebrity who unfortunately is no longer alive, but I remember that was a pretty epic concert that I went to with my mum. First broken bone. I haven't broken any of my bones yet. I hope I didn't jinx that. I've fractured my ankle before because a few years ago I tripped over my dog and I had to get crutches, but I've never actually broken a bone before. My first piercing was both my earlobes when I was like 3 years old. First foreign country, what does that even mean? Like, the first country that I went to, like visited, or I think that ties back with my first plane ride. I don't remember where that was. First movie you remember seeing in the theatres? Moulin Rouge, and I fell asleep. And I was really, really little at the time. I'll probably watch it again, but it was really, really boring at the time. And I just fell asleep on my mum's lap for like 90% of the movie. When was your first detention? Have I ever had a detention? From memory, I've only had one detention, if any. Actually, I don't think I've ever had a detention. I've been a pretty good girl. Who was your first roommate? I've never had a roommate. I have housemates. I guess that counts. My first housemate is actually in my house right now, and her name is Abby, and I met her when I worked at a bakery before. And there's actually, I live with Abby and her boyfriend and another one of her friends that she's known for like 10 years. So there are 4 of us who live together in this house. What was the first lesson you ever took? I'm not really sure what that means. If it's like lessons outside of school, being the Asian I am, piano lessons. Who was the first beauty related person you watched on YouTube? Probably Bub's Beauty. Anyway, those are all the questions to my first time tag. That was pretty fun, but half the questions I didn't even remember the answers to because I was too young. But yeah, anyways, I tag anyone who wants to do it because that's basically just what I do with my tags. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!